Hey guys, how's it going? Part two of my structural drawing class for the human figure, I guess you could say. Doing a live right now. You can hear my puppy in the background having water. Taking the drawing that we did on the iPad yesterday and thinking about uh, moving the block into more form. And I included people on here from Facebook Live as well today. This is mainly being streamed on YouTube. So figure we get as many people as possible to comment on what we're doing. And the video recording will be on YouTube afterwards. So to kind of give a quick recap. So working with Proudhon, I cut him out so it's easier for me to lay next to the iPad. And he's much larger than the screen, you can see, so that I can zoom in on my drawing and be able to see the feet better or part of the arm or the face. And so I have that as my reference that I'm going to be scrolling back and forth between. Actually, I'm going to move my cable over on this side so that it's connected, and that way the cable's not in the way. I want to make it as easy as possible to be able to see my drawing, which is on the iPad, and the reference. Awesome. I'm going to bring the reference up on the screen. And so what we're drawing is Proudhon, and it's using the iPad. It's in my downloads. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. So we'll put the Proudhon up. Right here. I don't know if you guys want to see me or not. Maybe I'll put myself small down in the corner here. And so we have our drawing from yesterday. I want to make the reference here just as small as possible because I find that I tend to overdraw. Like by accident I'll be drawing part of his his leg, but you won't see it because it'll be over. So that's why most of my drawings on the iPad, I'm using the right-hand side of the iPad versus the left-hand side so that I can have the reference up at the same time. I'm trying to figure all the technical stuff out. Hopefully you guys can hear me again. Awesome. My wife is in the other room working out, so hopefully that's not too loud. And we have our dogs around slurping water as well as barking, and they are still working on the studio in the backyard. Our general contractor is here, Dan, and I think today he's wiring the studio with power, which is pretty exciting. I've been posting videos a lot about the whole process of the studio, which has been fun. And my video yesterday, I learned something really special and new because this is a community that we're in, right? So I was using the glove all wrong. I was using these two fingers, which doesn't make sense at all, and the pencil kept slipping out, and so I'm embarrassed a little bit. But I know now that it actually covers most of the palm, just like this, not how I had it. So really, really funny. And now I think it's probably going to work really, really well. I think I bought this for $7 or $8 on Amazon. I will post a link down below to where you can get it, as well as other things that I use on my iPad, like the pen nibs, and not nips, pen nibs that I use on my. Everything's pretty affordable, like $7, $8. And also a small portion of the Amazon link, a little disclaimer. I think I make 5% of any sale, whatever that is, on the Amazon Associates program for any links that I post on there, and you guys click through and purchase. So it helps out with the channel if you do purchase from the link that's provided, and I appreciate it because I'm not monetized yet. Hopefully this week, fingers crossed. They actually let me do a store finally. So I actually have a store that's associated with the page now. So let's get into drawing. So I always like to think about the core section of the drawing first. Just like when I start with a portrait when I'm in a workshop, my students all see me, I start right in on the eyes and work my way around. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm making sure that I have Derwent on. My eraser is Derwent also. I'm on the correct layer. Now I'm only drawing on one layer. That way I can kind of erase in and out of it. My layer that I have here is the paper layer, which is kind of neat. We can turn that on and off. And so we go gray. And some of the texture that we actually have being developed here is because of the type of drawing material that we have. So the Derwent pencil gives us a texture, and so does the paper give us a texture. So it has that, it looks like a representational drawing to me. And what's really also neat is that we have all of these really cool design lines that I have that I love. I love kind of seeing all these mistakes that I have, these structural lines that we use. I'm probably going to get rid of those because we're kind of moving into, today I want to spend an hour working on the sketch, maybe bring it into a finish. So I'm going to start in on the torso, and I have my reference here, which is really awesome. Thinking about, I'm coming in with the opacity 42 with the pencil, and thinking about the structure of the torso and how it comes in. So this gets a little lighter. Now what's really great about Proudhon is that he uses these linear lines to really develop the form. And that's similar to how I actually work as well. And that's not by an accident at all. That's because Proudhon was one of my favorite draftsmen. And so when I was studying in school, I looked a lot at his drawings. And so that kind of really informs how I draw with my white chalk and charcoal, a traditional medium, to create form. If you look at, I have a video on, I think it's called Drawing Secrets. I have to do these kind of crazy titles, but it has all the secrets to how I draw. I do a portrait from start to finish in there, and I think it's about an hour long. And I talk about how I use these linear strokes that are cross-contouring of form to develop the structure and form. And so because we have the block in now, so basically what we have are contours, right? So I will show you really fast on here. I'm going to use a red, really bright red. So this is a contour. This is a contour. Anything that is an edge to a form or to a block in is a contour. And when I say cross contour, obviously you can see that it means you're cutting across this form. And so you're bridging from the light into the shadow. And so that's the main concept I want you guys to understand first and foremost. That's how we conceptualize sculptural form within a sketch, within a drawing. And for me, I like to knit these forms together. It's kind of almost suturing across this form based on how the light is coming in, right? So we know that the light source is coming in from this direction and that things are going to turn based around that, right? This form's going to be like this. This form is going to tuck in just a little bit and turn. This is going to come forward a little bit more. And so we start to think of the topography of the spaces that we're doing, right? And so we really want to kind of understand these structural elements. And even when I was in school, and this was something that was like a deficiency and maybe just how I was learning how to draw and paint when I was in college, I had no idea that. I was always told that when you do a contour line drawing, it's pretty much just the outside of a figure or a person. I didn't realize that, I don't know why that's not drawing. There we go. Like a contour like that this was what a contour was. I didn't realize that contours were actually the borders. Maybe the glove isn't working as well as I thought. Are the borders of the actual forms. So like this border of this dark that we have that pulls into this area, that's a contour line. So that's it. That's kind of, think of it like country borders. Right, this is a country, this is a country, and we want to cross those borders and unify those areas to one another. Awesome. If you guys have any questions at all while I'm drawing, feel free to hit me up. That will be in the time lapse now. So I'm going to get off that red because that's pretty crazy. Just go to black and come into the shadow shape. Go back to the initial layer here. And it's kind of fun just to kind of think about what's going on here. Some areas are contours we want to have a harder edge. In some areas we want to have a softer edge. So when it's up against this part right here on the back, as you can see, I want to have a harder edge here versus this side. And what that does is that this is a deeper valley. Through here, this is farther away from us on the light side than this area. So my concept is that this is pulling forward, right? So we want this to be a softer turn than this side, which is more of a structural valley within the form. And so that's my thought process. Let me get rid of these arrows. And so I love, I'm going to accentuate, usually get a really thin, beautiful, delicate line here for the neck and back, the trapezius. And just, again, using the very light touch on the Apple Pencil, can come in and soften that out. I'm just going to leave that line for now, even though it's a somewhat of an affectation of painting. Actually, I'm going to probably get rid of it. Keeping it there, but slightly losing this edge. Softening it out. I changed my mind. And just go into the background, just bring that over. Because I want a little bit more sense of form. And so as we follow the back down into the back muscles here, we have some of the structure already established. This gets darker as it goes through this path, just kind of knocking in darker areas. And what's great is that, same as if we're working from a traditional medium, we're not married to anything, right? So I can come in at any time and soften or erase certain areas, or add white chalk to soften an area. So this edge right here, I want to come in and simplify this dark through here. Again, almost just kind of filling it in, coloring it in. This edge right here, if you guys can see my cursor, I want to get rid of that. I don't love that edge. So I'm coming in with the eraser, and I'm just gently, very light opacity here, coming in and just glazing over and softening out. And at the same time, even thinking, again, those cross contours. If you see my line, my movement of my line through here, I'm cutting across that edge. Now I want to make it darker again. Cutting across, shading that back, pulling forward into this area right here, kind of getting that sense of rhythm as well as we pull into this part of the torso. How's it going, guys? Hey, Camillo and BA. Thinking about, again, those line qualities of how they kind of fold into the torso. Torso and back area, because they're the largest masses of the figure. That's what we're kind of working on a little bit. I'm seeing how this comes over just a little bit. That looks nice. I'm liking some of that paint quality or drawing quality in here. I want to come in and just soften out this part where the leg comes in. using the eraser again at maybe 30% opacity just to knock that lighter. And at this stage, even though this is a drawing versus if I was working at it from life or from an actual model, I would want to eventually get rid of all the line quality and just create form. Which means that my edges of forms, my lights, and these movements of hatch that I have here, you can see where I'm kind of hatching down and cross contouring, that they become more and more subtle as we go. Have you tried Babio colors? I don't know what Babio colors are. I apologize. So I haven't tried them. Are they oils? This comes in and over. This gets a little lighter as we go. Pulling in, now I'm going in from the dark side using the pencil. I see that this could be a little bit more understood. I always say that if I need to come back to an area that needs more thought. This part pulls forward, putting a little bit more weight under him. There's this line quality here from the block in. Again, the block in, coming in with the eraser. We're almost slightly erasing away the block in, so that the block in turns into quote unquote form and is more integrated. And Proudhon again is amazing to look at because he has these linear elements in his form that really help us to guide what it is we're seeing in a very accurate way. That's why he's a great demo for drawing and a great tool for drawing. I recommend you guys study Proudhon's sketches. There's actually some that are very, very early. There's one of a guy that is just all roughed in line hatch, which is really incredible. You're the best artist I've ever seen. I appreciate that. I'll take that compliment. I'm not the best artist. I've worked really hard for what I do, and I know so many artists that this stuff comes more naturally for. But so if I get a compliment, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. This light comes in here on this side of the rib cage, behind the back. Just coming in, really thinking about, and you can see how these lines are kind of helping to develop the form. This is more, I'm going to get rid of this line and turn this into light hatch. You see the hatch that comes in. I'm glad I got to do an extra day on this sketch, because yesterday getting in the block in was a lot of fun, which I definitely want you guys to watch that as well, because this drawing stands on the shoulders of that block in. Meaning that one, I wouldn't be able to get to this level of the sketch without having the block in established. Super, super valuable. So I thought it would be fun to do as a YouTube tutorial for you guys. Coming in with the dark chalk again. Finding what's going on this edge of the form. How this comes in. This kind of pulls forward more. I think it would be fun to, maybe in the next month or so, do a version of this from a real model, a real person, rather than drawing from a sketch. I actually have an amazing model that posed for us in Rome. My wife and I teach in Italy almost every year. We're teaching again in Urbino in June. And we have a model there. And he's great. I don't know if he's going to be in our workshop in Urbino, but he posed for us in Rome, and we had him pose in the same pose as this drawing, because this is one of my favorite sketches. I keep the I'm going to use a roll of tape again because I'm getting some of the lines that are dragging from the, even using the glove. And I'm using the glove the right way this time too. What the hey? Trying not to curse on YouTube or Facebook. This gets a little darker through here. This front area is a little bit too dark. I'm going to come in and just knock that back, soften that out a little bit. Soften what's going on here. Where are you guys watching in from? Are you guys from Facebook or from YouTube? I'm curious. I'm not sure how maybe the technical works. I'm not sure if I can get people's comments from Facebook at all on here. So if you're on Facebook and I'm ignoring your comments or questions, it's probably because I can't see them. Oh, okay. These are all for, oh, there are both. Never mind. What brushes are you using to draw in Procreate? So in the beginning, I set up, I used the Derwent pencils and Derwent eraser, just because they have a nice texture to them. So I do see, actually, I'm looking at, there's a little icon that shows where the question's coming from. I love technology. It's made it so awesome for teaching. Going to come in, put a little bit more opacity to the drawing pencil here. And I love these little like movements here. If you look in the drawing really gently on the chest, and then these kind of movements on his arm that really follow the form. You can see that it gets darker through here. Again, thinking about turning from the block-in stage to a more understood full form drawing. Formful. This cuts in. I feel like this could be a little bit taller through here, drawing wise. I think. Let's see. We have this spot. We got this little nugget in here. Let's erase that out a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Soften that out. Curve that in a little bit more. Pretty fun. I was just watching your box video. I left a comment on how to do the giveaway. Awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. Oh, hey, Jim. How's it going? Yeah, I just launched a video on my drawing kit that I worked on with General Pencils. They're a great company, family owned since 18 whatever. And we teamed up to do a box, I think like 10 years ago or so, and they only have 300 of them left, or no, 200 of them left in their factory. And so I thought I would do a cool box on how I retrofit them. And there's a 10% off coupon. I guess for accounting reasons, I tried to get the coupon to last longer than a month, but for accounting reasons, they don't know the cost of materials or something at the first of the year, and so they couldn't do a coupon that went over into next year. So that's kind of the explanation that I got from them, was when I asked for a bigger. But we'll probably get another coupon, hopefully. Can't promise you anything, but probably the next year. I don't know if it'll be 10% or 5% or 8%. I guess depends on inflation and stuff and all that jazz. So I was just watching. I draw in the church I'm from in Egypt. I saw you on YouTube. Oh, thanks so much. Egypt's beautiful. I hope to get there someday. Again, I'm softening up these edges because I want to refine what's going on. And so if I don't know what's going on in an area, I want to never knowingly leave something wrong in a drawing. And that's what this is, right? For me, this is honing in my vision as an artist. And so the better I do this, the more accurate this is, the more accurate my vision gets, the more trained my eye is for drawing. thinking about this far arm right here. I love the linear quality of the arm that's coming in. I'm just hatching with the brush. I'm going to kind of zoom out and show you guys where it's kind of moving towards. So we're starting to see more form in the center torso. Haven't gotten to the face yet. And everyone's like, get to the face. I mean, that's me during demos when I was in school, and we'd have an instructor, and I'd be like, when are you going to paint the face? In my head. I never said that out loud. Or when are you going to get to that nose? And it really is, the reason I kind of move around the way I do, it's all just emotional responses to what I'm seeing. Peter says, does the ability to zoom in on the screen change the way you draw compared to life drawing? A little bit. I never thought of that. I think zooming in really is kind of this idea of just moving closer to the canvas. So when I'm draw from life, I'm constantly like doing a dance kind of thing, like looking at it, squinting at it, matching it up with the size of the model from a distance. And so there's that. I never really think about, it's funny, lately though, if I see a print of something in a book, I'm like, ooh, like I love that painting, I want to zoom in. And so I go to, like, I'm sure you guys have all done this, you go to like 2-finger pinch, printed something, or you kind of like, oh, I wish I could just print or pinch this right now to zoom in, because that's so cool. I do that sometimes on catalogs and everything that I get in the mail for different artists and everything. Getting some of this darken down here a little bit, just kind of scribbling it in. Oh, thanks. I'm gonna hopefully not butcher anyone's name. Oh, Jim, thanks for getting the pencil kit. Do you already have it? Did it already arrive, or did you just order it recently? And Gray and I are watching the stream. Hey, Gray. Gray, and is that Lucas? Lucas. That's awesome, guys. Well, welcome to the stream. Just sketching. I'm going to talk to SCAD. Maybe I can do an iPad drawing, iPad as traditional art kind of thing instead of charcoal next time. It'll be a lot cleaner. I did a demo at my son's art school in Savannah, or I'm sorry, in Atlanta. I always get that mixed up. He goes to SCAD Atlanta. And it was fun. We had probably a pretty full room of people, all drawing with easels. See this edge right in here? I don't love that edge. Coming in, and this part of the quad and the leg is a lot darker on the above part. If you guys can check out, go to Lucas. Oh, there's our puppy, Luna. They're working on the backyard on the studio. If you guys go to Lucas, just dropped this amazing drawing that it looks like a self-portrait with him and his partner. Is it a graveyard, Lucas? And he's got like a hand that's like holding like a light or something that's like flaming through the distance. My wife and I were talking about it this morning. She loves the reflected light on the ground. It's one of my favorite pieces that he's done. My son's a digital artist and a traditional artist. He's doing awesome stuff. Bro is acting like he doesn't know me. That's funny. I know you. I know you really well. This edge gets a little harder up on here. Thinking about this dark here because it's going to create some weight for the figure. And you can see I'm doing hatches to create that sense of form. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to do just a quick glaze, turning the opacity to kind of maybe 20%. This gets a little lighter, or sorry, a little darker. Aw, I made my son's day. That's cool. That's a dad win for the day. Lucas, I can't wait to show you the studio. We'll have to do a quick call later, maybe, if you guys can do. I don't want to bother you. I know you have company over in Brooklyn. I want to show you the studio. It's Dan, our contractor, like called me in the other day, yesterday, because he cleared it out and he had just put the light fixtures up, and he's like, "You got to come see this," because he's so stoked about how it looks on the inside. It's like super clean and beautiful. I'll do another video hopefully soon on all of our thoughts on the studio. Actually, I'm going to probably make a combined video of all the updates and just do maybe a live where I just talk about what our decisions were in the art studio, because some people are wondering why I didn't put a lot of windows in the space, but I want consistent natural light. Coming with that eraser again, just to take the edge off of these forms. What resources would you recommend for master studies? Gru's is amazing. Gru's, because he draws with these contours that are incredible. I wonder if I have his book here. You know, this would be a great idea for a video. Because I have so many drawing resources. Draw anything from John Vanderpool is one of my favorites. George Bridgman, again, one of my favorites. He's more about like the blockiness of the form and understanding how it's constructed, which I learned a lot about. And then Vanderpool is just, his way he draws the figure is just poetic, just so beautiful. Softening up these edges, and he talks about going from block in, kind of just what we're doing here. I'm not as good as that guy, but so much to learn from that. I got to go back in and study those guys again and do some more copies. Thinking about this curve right in here, and then this subform right here. Just kind of thinking about the rhythm of that form. I apologize for the puppies. They're putting in some type of scaffolding. They're doing. My contractor's so good. He's. I thought the walls looked great, and he's like, "No, they're not perfect. I want to do another coat of paint on the walls." So we're doing 3 coats. And we're waiting on UPS to bring the. I'm sorry, not UPS. USPS to bring the light bulbs, because the fixtures are in. He's going to have the electricity today, I think, brought out. Waiting on bulbs. Coming into here again. Still see some of these lines. So my goal is to kind of kill the line at this stage so that it turns into form. Getting a little bit lighter here. I'm erring on the side of dark so that I can pull the light in. Our poor dogs. I think they hear noise and they think the world's coming to an end. Our poor dog is scared of lightning and fireworks and everything. Totally can empathize with them. Oh, right on, Rob. Rob's, hey, Georgine, how's it going? Lucas is a very cool name. Lucas's middle name. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to do a hat for Calder. I've been doing, like, I've been obsessed with the store here on YouTube. And so I set up a Spring account or something like that where you can do merchandise. And I kind of went through all my favorite artists. Luna, chill out, girlfriend. I'm going to put Luna in the bedroom. I'll be right back. Come on, Luna. Come on. Maybe that'll give us some peace and quiet. um, so I've been obsessed with with these hats. So I bought a hat from a favorite YouTuber of mine, this guy 5 Watt World, and it's really great. It's like a dad hat that's all embroidered. The logo is embroidered, and so I'm always using a hat in the studio to block light. And so I made these kind of studio hats, but they're all famous artists. So I did a Rembrandt one. I did a Diego Velasquez version of Juan de Pareja, which is kind of cool. I did a Frida Kahlo. I did a Kath Kolwitz hat. You guys can check it out at the YouTube on the it should be a shopping tab. It's all weird. I did one with the taped banana. They're pretty cool. My wife's funny though. She's like, "You're making stuff that only you want." I'm like, "You're right." And then she's like, "You can't." I was like, "I want to buy one of the hats that I made because I think they're cool." Stupid. I did one that said "R Mutt" for Duchamp, one of my favorite artists. Even though I'm a realist, I love Marcel Duchamp, and so I thought it was kind of neat to have these kind of. If you walk in Brooklyn, my favorite part about Brooklyn is that if anyone threw a toilet out on the side of the street, usually Tuesdays are trash day, someone would come in and write "R Mutt" on the toilet, and I thought that's amazing. Like, I live in an artsy place for the most part because they would know that Marcel Duchamp reference. So I made a shirt that had the signature "R Mutt" on it. Oh, cool, Lucas! I can't wait to see the new piece. To me, you're amongst the very best artists I've seen, so it's strange you saying you're not as good as those guys, I think. I appreciate that. Definitely. I, I just know so many artists that are just so amazing. Everything like I've learned or I've had to fight for, I guess, in what I do, and it hasn't come easy. And like I said, for these tutorials, like I want to be the online tutorial person for that I needed as a student, so that you guys can learn what I know and learn it faster. And hopefully, uh, these tutorials are. I mean, I have fun doing them. Again, my son jumps on. I get to talk to him. I see old friends like Georgine on here, even if just for a second. Um, it's awesome. I don't know if I'll be able to do them every single day. I started actually a video today on a guitar that I'm painting, how I transfer the drawing onto the guitar, just like I did with the amp piece of wood. So it's very similar, but a little different because it's black. And so I transfer using a burnt sienna. And so I'm kind of showing that process off as well. So the idea of the channel here is kind of my life as an artist. Everything I do, everything I'm working on or want to work on, and need an excuse to do. Like, I love this drawing, so I needed an excuse to study it. You guys are my excuse, you know, to kind of teach you guys what I do, as well as put out, I think, kind of cool content. Hopefully it's worth it. I have fun making it in any case. So again, softening up these edges. This gets a little darker through here. So just put more hatch. Not cross hatching, because I'm not really cross hatching the making crosses. It's all just form marks, that chisel marks, as if I was sculpting. I think of them like I'm chiseling the the marble away from the figure. Yeah, but some artists to check out. Check out amazing painters like Nicolas Uribe, one of my ultimate favorite painters. I've been lucky to get to know him a little bit, and I have a few of his pieces, which are kind of cool. I remember I bought one of his pieces, like kind of a commission, and he asked me if he wanted me to if I wanted him to draw my wife, Shayna. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, that'd be cool, but I really want a self-portrait of yours. So I had him do a self-portrait, which we have here, which I can't wait for the studio because I'll have a wall to put it on. We keep all of our, if you look behind me over here on the wall, we have a lot of artwork from our friends. I'll show you guys. See that whole wall is our friends' art. We have a wall over here that's also our friend's art. And we have, Shayna has a painting of Abby, her daughter, right there. We have a lot of art in the house. Nice, I got a super chat. I didn't know we could do that now. That's new. You're my first super chat. Hey Ruth, how's it going? Good to see you on here. It's been a while. How cool, a super chat, $4.99 from Lightning Lucas. Thanks, bud. He's my first. I just got monetized like yesterday, I think, to do super chats and I don't know what else, whatever you call those, and to do the store. So that was cool. You're my first. You're gonna go down in history as my first ever super chat. He knows I bugged him. We hung out in Austin. He came out to Austin to hang out, a little family vacation when he was done school, and I picked his brain all about like, hey, like tell me more about YouTube. And he was like, and Twitch and all these other streaming mediums and everything. I think that my secret weapon for my YouTube channel will be my 18-year-old son because he's more with it than I am. I'm an old fogey. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Let me check on the time here. How are we doing? We're 42 minutes in. So another 15 minutes or so. Maybe I'll turn this into 3 sessions for fun. Because I haven't even gotten to the face. Should I get into the face? Let's talk about the face. So as I'm starting to develop that part of the leg right here, just so you guys know. Thinking about the full form. I'm going to come in and change the opacity. Really quick, just think about the leg. I'm glazing over it now with like a wash with the line quality to kind of soften up. The kind of wash glaze kind of softens up some of the edges as well, because we're trying to, again, kill that sense of form. Kill the sense of kill the contours, which are going to kill the form. So this pulls forward. We can see this on the leg. And I love this reflected light in here. Is way too light. I'm going to come in and just knock this in a little bit darker. I know I said I was going into the face, but I see an area that needs to be fixed. I got to fix it. It's that idea, that concept that Richard Schmid would always talk about of never knowingly leave something wrong in a drawing or painting. This gets a little bit lighter, so I'm kind of just lightly touching the screen just a little bit. I'd rather err on the side of light than dark. And what I mean by that is I can always come back in and darken these edges. But I want to have a sense of air to it. And so almost, see how the leg is starting to develop, but there's edges to everything right in here. I'm going to come in and take my opacity to like 7 and just come in and just lightly glaze lighter. Take the edge off that dark, because I don't think it's as dark as what the reference is. And even going on the back, I'm coming around to the back. I don't know if you guys can see. Here's the hover where I'm going to go. It doesn't show the hover when I'm actually touching the iPad screen, unfortunately. So I'm going to come in and just soften that out, because I think it's just a little too dark. And just scraping it. Hopefully you guys can see it all get lighter on the screen as I go. And that way it softens up the edges. It's kind of the same as when I'm drawing from life. In traditional media, I am pushing the charcoal into the paper, right? And so it kind of softens up everything, and the values get a little bit more compressed. So it makes it look a little bit more realistic. If we squint at it now, you can see that it looks a little bit more realistic. And I see that some areas I can go a little bit lighter through the rib cage area. Can soften up some of the edges on the leg. So we're starting to build more reality to the sketch. Kind of cool. Going to come into this arm on the side here, and you still see what I still love is some of these errant lines that I had from the very beginning. It kind of shows the history of the sketch. So it's not this pristine drawing, but for a teaching tool, it's perfect to show you guys kind of my thought process in the very beginning. Yeah, definitely going to do. I think I'm going to add the white chalk tomorrow, Rob. Once I start getting kind of the structure in, that'll be great. Actually, that'll be a great stopping point for today. And then we'll move into white chalk tomorrow. Sorry, Rob. I know you're waiting for it. But I like the idea of making it, right now it's a very subtractive method where I'm kind of using my eraser to chisel away at areas. And the lightest light I can have is only the light of the paper that I have. So I'm going to come into the face right here, make this larger. It looks pretty cool. I do love what's going on in here, which is kind of neat. So putting my reference, you guys can see closer to the drawing here. So let's come in and think about establishing our darks within the face, our shadow shapes. I'm going to change my opacity just a little bit. This underplane here comes up and over. The way his structure is, the Apple Pen, it's still not working. So this is the glove that keeps causing that line to come in. The glove works sometimes. Thinking about the structure of the under the eyes right now, meeting into the bridge of the nose. And I love portraiture and painting faces, so this is like dessert for me. Thinking about this shape right in here, knocking that all dark. Pretty fun. Kind of almost like he has a Batman mask. Or like there's not a lot of detail in here, so we're just keeping it super loose. The dark kind of pulls this way, up through here, in this area. If we come from here, we have this kind of line that is it's not connected to the eyes, so I'm going to kind of move that away a little bit and kind of think about the block in. I'm looking forward to the white charcoal. Yeah, tomorrow's fine. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Let me I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. I don't think I have anything going on in the morning. Again, I like doing this time frame from 10 to around 11. Seems to be really nice. This pulls into, and then we can see a little bit more of the structure of his arm cutting in. Kind of lighten that up a little bit and kind of simplify some of our drawing lines through here with the eraser. Coming in, you see I have to position my body in a certain way because I want to see the drawing upright versus at an angle. Getting rid of some of these structural lines. I can go pretty light here to kind of erase them. Kind of give more eraser here. That's better. It's like sometimes I'm trying to erase, but there's no juice because there's the opacity on the eraser is not there. Coming up into the hairline. So basically I'm just taking trips around the drawing, seeing where I'm going to make sure that I want to always make sure that I'm vertical and so that my reference is also as vertical as possible, so that I'm not getting an angle incorrect. Having a floating reference is horrible. What I mean by floating is like that's just all over the place. It could be your reference could be tilted this way and you're drawing this way, and then you end up not realizing it, and then your drawing suffers because you're not getting the right angle. You want to basically have things as easy as possible to be able to represent things as well as possible. Coming in here, I love the movement of his hair. It's got a nice like rhythm to it, which I'm kind of just, I don't need to get it exact. I want to just get the feeling of it. And at this stage, having the feeling of the sketch is making it so I'm thinking in terms, when I was in the very beginning thinking straight angular lines, now I'm thinking a little bit of curved lines, curved for the hair more so. And I don't have to get it exact. I want to get kind of the feeling of the holistic idea of the sketch and the structure, because that's kind of what we're demonstrating here, is structure, form, all that stuff. Not and a little bit of accuracy. I mean, we want it slightly to be able to understand the reference. I'm just blocking all this in, again, with a strong hatch, just to knock in the darks. Up against the nose here, there's some cool curves to the hair. Come into the nose again, under the he probably has a mustache that kind of comes over like this. It's hard to tell. It'd be interesting to see what the model actually looked like in 19th century France when it was drawn. And it's really interesting with Proudhon. I love his drawings. I don't love his paintings. His academic drawings are just so strong, and I feel like his paintings aren't as. I'd much rather look at a Moreau, who's insane, like the Good Samaritan, that kind of work. Which, I'm trying to get to Paris to see that painting. We were in Paris for one day about a year ago, just for a layover for a flight. And I was like, and we went into town, went into Paris for a day. But the museum, it was on a Monday, so the museums are always closed on Mondays, unfortunately. Do I do critiques? Yeah, we do a mentorship program. My wife and I, we have a few students that we talk to like a couple times a month or whenever. If you email me, my email is just david@kassan, KASSAN.com. We can talk about that. And I do a lot of critiques with the iPad, which has kind of been fun. So I can do overpaints and everything. I have a workshop coming up on the eye. We're going to talk specifically about drawing and painting the eye. Traditional, not with the iPad, unfortunately, or fortunately. I get people who like both, or they like one or the other. I don't know why they can't do both. I have a lot of demos on here with, I'm going to pull some more opacity here, with the iPad, and also, because I've been doing it recently because I don't have the studio built yet, with the iPad, because it's just easy to sit in my drawing room and do a drawing for you guys and talk it through. Same concepts as traditional. Try to relate it to traditional as much as possible. But I also have some drawing videos that are time-lapsed, as well as the charcoal drawing discussion, which is also on here. That's actually, I think, the most popular video on my channel so far, besides some old videos that I have where I was alla prima painting the model, painting Betty. Betty's like one of the best models in New York. She always poses at the Art Students League. Coming in here, thinking about, you can see like the line quality is really beautiful on this shoulder, pulling into the bicep. and then softening up over these edges because it helps me refine them more. So I'll show you guys the sketch now. Starting to kind of just block in where the hair is. Rob, it's okay. You have all these videos for free on YouTube. Hopefully these will be helpful just to hang and ask questions. I'm here for you. This pulls down and over, going back into the torso because I was kind of redrawing this, but then I didn't quite finish it. I feel like this is a little bit much smaller of a space than I have it. And so to think about these like areas, I want to squint as much as possible. And I'm cutting into the shadow. Cutting into this shadow. What's going on here? Again, you hear the tapping on the screen. It's either tapping or screeching on the iPad. I don't know if you guys can hear that on your end. I have the microphone right here. Cool thing, I was teaching in Houston recently, I think like last month, and doing a live demo from the model, which is so much fun. I love doing that. My next workshop's in Scottsdale in March, working from the model. But it's hard for students to find a spot where they can see everything I'm doing. What I think about is what's great about online education is that you guys are like right in the front row seeing all the details being done, and you don't have my face or my hands in the way. How often do you do these live sessions? I've been doing them a couple times a week now. Maybe I'll probably continue them when a new studio is built. We'll see. Depends on the interest. Again, if you guys, I have to say it, I guess, because if you like this content, please like and subscribe and share with friends. I'm hoping to have the studio kind of have cameras always up and ready to capture footage when I'm in the studio. And then I'm imagining that I capture the footage during the day, and then when I'm chilling, just kind of edit stuff at night. We'll see. I kind of also want I want my channel to be more like a resource channel where people are curious about how to gesso a panel or how to transfer a drawing. Or I want to have just a bunch of go-to like encyclopedia videos where people can, and that way I guess I'm not getting those questions all the time. I'm trying to answer all the questions that people send me all the time through doing videos. And I think we're about 120 watch hours away from being monetized, which is kind of exciting. So I can buy a new microphone and maybe buy one of those hats. I want to buy one of my own hats. My wife is cute. She's like, you can get one if you get monetized. And I'm like, yes. Because I do not need any more hats. That's for sure. I did just retire one, so just one. This guitar company, Novo Guitars, that I'm doing a drawing for, I bought one of their hats, and I think I wore it out for like a whole 2 years. That was cool. It's just a dad cap. In my studio right now, the way the lights are, I have to wear a baseball cap, unfortunately, to paint because the light kind of goes into my eyes. And so it's like my studio cap. I've kind of arranged the studio in the new studio not to have that happen, but we'll see. It could be a me thing and not a light thing. I don't know. I will know in 2 weeks. Hopefully 2 weeks from having the studio up and running. Are you drawing or painting in your Scottsdale workshop? I'm drawing. I'm sorry, I'm painting. It's going to be painting from life, where it's going to be almost alla prima. What I mean by that was a bad erase mark, is that I'm going to be doing the sketch with pan pastel kind of how I started drawing, but then finishing up uh, with oil paint. So I think it's 5 days. And I just taught the same kind of workshop in Houston where it was a lot of fun. I painted for, as what I'm doing really quick here is I'm kind of thinking about the whole now. When I go into like detail-y stuff, I always have this like inclination to pull back and work on the whole. So like thinking holistically within a sketch as well. Anyway, the drawing class, well, the painting class was 4 days, and so I kind of started in painting almost right away. So I kind of think of that more of an alla prima, direct method of painting, and then it turns into kind of how I do paint mostly by transferring drawings over. And this one's going to be similar, but it's going to be a 5-day painting class. Usually I do 5 days. The 4-day was kind of an anomaly for me. But the studios in Scottsdale are amazing, and it's pretty affordable to go. They have a lot of hotels and Airbnbs and such, and so it makes for a really good time. And there's like great restaurants and bars and everything there. And my wife we love taking the class out to karaoke for fun, or just getting to know the class. So when we're there, we're really there for the students and getting to know people. So it's kind of fun for us because we're almost always in our studio, and we have friends here, but they're not artist friends, So hanging out with a bunch of artists, talking about what everyone's working on, and getting to know everybody is a lot of fun when we teach. Because I feel like we're introvert extrovert. Like when we can hit like our limit of how long you want to hang out, but then also if we're also kind of solitary in what we do. We're always in our own heads all the time. My wife and I. She's working on a project right now, which is epic. It's one of her best portraits she's done. Check out her Instagram to see it. But she's busy thinking about that all day. I'm busy thinking about like these guitars and everything I'm painting and what I'm working on, and it's kind of cool for us to meet up at night and talk about what it is we're doing. We can't really talk. Our friends are mostly lawyers and have other jobs, and so we don't have a lot of artist friends here in New Mexico. Some, but it's cool to have a partner. Very lucky to have a partner that's also a painter. Are you drawing? Okay, I think I got everyone's questions. How are we doing on time? So we're just over an hour so far. I think I'm going to probably call it a day. And let me get this part of the knee in here. And I think I'll do another session tomorrow with this, and I'm going to talk about coming in with the white chalk on top of the sketch. Let me get some of the hair in here. It's got this crazy kind of hair thing going in. Haven't really gotten the ear in. Let me do a little bit more on the face. Oops. The glove is not working. That I'm still afraid of like touching the screen. I feel like he's got a little bit of a Wolverine vibe. Anyone else feeling it? The writing on the t-shirt of your wife's portrait is epic, I think. It's secret techniques. I know, all my videos, I apologize for all of the... I'm trying to figure out how to get monetized so that I can make the content for free, and everyone's like, clever titles. And they're like, your title will not be seen by the algorithm. And I'm like, no. Okay. Secrets to drawing. Hopefully I'm telling you guys everything. There are no real secrets. I'm telling you guys exactly what I do. So maybe that's the secret. But then also drawing is like so much about temperament. And so how I work is kind of how I work. And I'm not saying that it's the best way or the only way. I'm just saying that this is the way that works for me in the art that I want to create. So I don't want to be ever dogmatic and say that this is the only way to create a piece of art. You know, that whenever I teach, there's students that want to know exactly what I use material wise, and then some students that are overwhelmed by a full list of materials, and I want them to just use what materials are comfortable for them, you know, in their own studio, in their own space. We don't want to make clones of what we do, but we also want to share what we do, because maybe something will become useful for somebody, you know, that we said. But then also, I don't want it to be dogmatic and say that this is the only way, because this is definitely not. So many different ways to create in this world that I get stoked to see all those different ways. I love so many of my friends' art that paint so differently than I do. Awesome, guys. I'm gonna hang it up, I think. I still want no. It's funny. I almost want to print out even a larger printout of the face because it's so small in my printout here. This kind of cuts in a little bit more so than I have it. I'm going to use this as the thumbnail for the video. Getting a little bit more darker through here. This is a little darker. Awesome, guys. If you guys have any questions or ideas for other videos that you guys want to see me do about what I do in my art and whatever, please feel free to put that in the comments. I'd love to hear different ideas. I think I'm going to start. I'm such a product of the people I've studied with and the artists that I love that I'm going to start a cool. I think it's going to be a cool series because it's kind of neat of what makes different artists great to me. Like I want to do a what makes Max Ginsburg great. He's one of my favorite artists and people, and I want to do a video on it, like talking about his art and what I saw in it when I first saw it and everything. And that's a video I want to do. I might even do it as a live so that I can take questions as I'm doing it. It's much easier for me to do a live like this and talk about what it is I'm doing than something that's a canned video where I have to like film it in front of just a camera. I love that there's humans on the other end of this interaction. And so I'm not just, maybe I am just talking to the air because I don't know if anyone's here, but I feel like at least I'm tricked into thinking that there's people watching and people are asking questions, which are great. So Neil, hey, how's it going, man? I'm using the iPad to draw. So it's the iPad Pro, and it's pretty awesome. I draw like this all the time for different projects. I just did a video on, I haven't posted it yet, on drawing on a guitar or painting on a guitar, and I used a drawing that I did on an airplane of they wanted a skull. So I'm doing a skull with flowers. It's kind of a Grateful Dead vibe to the drawing, and so I basically I take the iPad drawing, print it out in Photoshop, and I'm transferring that over to the wood right now, which is kind of neat. Great question though, and I'm using Procreate as my software. I'm old enough to remember when the iPad, nobody drew on the iPad, and I remember when Procreate was brand new, and they actually asked me to beta test it back in the day, because I used to do some early work with the iPad. Even did a commercial for Apple that never aired with the iPad. Kind of fun stuff. Not a fun shoot at all. I'll have to tell you guys that story someday. If I can. I don't know if I signed NDAs. Maybe I can't be talking about this right now or I'll be sued. Probably not. I think it's more about like just having it was filmed before the product was out. Fun stuff. Coming here to the eyes, softening that edge out. And I think we're going to be done. I'm going to come in here and work on this tomorrow or Friday. And I'm going to talk about how I think about white chalk and adding white chalk into drawing. So it's going to be very similar to how I paint. And it's going to look very similar to what the sketch is on the left-hand side right there. So many more things to do. This gets a lot lighter through here. This is too much fun. This gets a little lighter through here on the shoulder. Awesome, guys. I'm going to zoom out. I didn't work on any of the arm or really the foot at all today. But we're getting closer. I think I'm going to do a couple more sessions, maybe at least one more session. It'll be kind of fun to see how far we can take a digital drawing. It's kind of funny in a way. This is a great teaching aid. I think that the exercise of turning something that's a digital image of a drawing into a digital image of a drawing is kind of funny if we think about it. But as a teaching tool, just coming in and redrawing some of the knee. I can't stop, won't stop. Is really fun. I mean, I'm learning a ton. I'm really dissecting this sketch, which is nice. This drawing by Proudhon. I'm not a French person. I hope I say that right. Not from France. Oh, I love this part of the... I love that there's some like looseness in that foot that it just looks like he just knocked it in like 2 seconds. But everything's in the right place. I love it. Awesome, guys. Oh, BA. Whatever happened to that commercial with that stole Jace's portrait you did? Oh, that's a deep cut. Yeah, so in Egypt, one of my images was stolen by an advertising company. Nothing. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't have a lawyer fees to do international IP law. So I guess it just they used my image of Jace, which is a painting I did for a documentary, instructional documentary, in like a haunted house where her eyes came alive or something crazy, and it was pretty crazy. It was fun. You know, all these random stuff happen. You can't really fight it. You just gotta can't really fight it legally when you're an artist, and so you just be like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing that happened in my life. And you just kind of move on. And what did Neil say? Is that oil paint on guitar, or do you use another? I'm using oils for the... Hey, thanks, Raul. I'm using oil paint on the guitar. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a guitar that's going to be used on the road or whatever, but it's more of an art piece with a guitar that can still be played, which is awesome. And hopefully it's going to be hopefully unveiled if I finish it in time at the NAMM festival the NAMM conference in Anaheim, California in January. So I'm going to go out to California in January with the art, and I get to play it, which is kind of cool. I got to send them, I think they need like 3 or 4 days to build the guitar after, so I got to get on the ball with that. I got to stop doing these lives and get in there, draw that leg in there just a little bit. I love the line quality we see in this. I definitely recommend you guys Google this, Proudhon, and get a copy of this and try your own sketches, because I'm learning a lot here of how he does these line qualities are really beautiful. Awesome, guys. Oh yeah, people have copied Jace a little bit, and it's kind of I think it's just an honor. Again, there's not much you can do, I think. I'm going to definitely reshape out that ear. I'm going to get a better printout for tomorrow. So that's how far we got today. I think it's looking okay. I definitely can see some areas that need to work on. But as you can see in the torso, if you squint, starting to get those values to get closer together and how things are kind of moving. This has been a lot of fun drawing for you guys. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to bring in some of the warm. It looks like there's warm undertones if you look on the back, and then they turn into light. I don't love the reflected light on them. Maybe I'll print it out in color. Right now I'm just using just a black and white for him. But yeah, I'll do a little quick color version, which will be super useful. But I'll get the values in the back of the arm darker and get that leg in there a little bit better. Awesome, guys. So I'm going to sign off for now. Oh, I like that idea. The water flowing from the barrel gives a sense of time. I like that. So thanks again, guys, for just picked up. Oh, nice. Cool, Georgine. Awesome, guys. So I'm going to sign off. Thanks again for watching, and if you like this content, please like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. It'll tell you when I'm live next. It'll hopefully be tomorrow around 10 o'clock, tomorrow or Friday. Awesome, guys. Have a good one, and take care. And everyone paint well.